How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode 8 of this week's Death in Music, and our very, very special guest, me and Robert, Hey, what's up now, Robbie?
Hey, man.
I want to welcome our very special guest, Mr. Jimi motherfucking Hendrix.
That's right. Damn right, dude. This guy's legendary, man. Shit. I can't stress it enough. Like, what an impact he made on rock history.
A fucking rock and roll god, man.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, he deserves all the credit he has, and definitely one of those people who burned out way too soon too.
Member of Club 27.
Yeah, another member of Club 27. That's right. And definitely not the last, dude. We got a lot of those to go through. Like Jim Morrison,
yeah.
We haven't touched that one yet.
No, yeah, Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin too, yeah.
We got a couple of his crew of same era musicians that all fit that club.
Yeah, for sure.
So without further ado,
Jimi Hendrix, man.
Hendrix.
Born Johnny Allen Hendrix, November 27th, 1942, and died September 18th, 1970. The
day after my birthday, the day...
oh shit, that's true.
Yeah, man. It's fucking rock and roll fucking god. Died on September 18th, which is what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago almost?
Yeah, only a couple of weeks ago. Really crazy, man. Like that. Yeah, that's the main reason he's been on the mind, because we've been talking about all the deaths from this month, and he's one of them. Actually, it's funny too, because just yesterday, had we done yesterday, it might have been kind of a clash, because Tom Petty actually, it's the anniversary of his death yesterday. And it's like,
was it yesterday or today?
Or maybe it was today. I think it might have been today. Liz brought it up to me, though. That's a missed opportunity. I actually kind of feel bad about doing Jimi Hendrix, too, because this would have been like a perfect one for the 10th episode milestone.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, after researching him, I definitely want to talk about him. He
would have been, 76 right now?
I read some conspiracies that he faked his death, but, I don't believe that shit at all.
Well, I kind of, glimpsed through a conspiracy that they kind of felt foul play from his girlfriend. Because remember, I don't know if you read that one of his first managers tried to have him kidnapped by the mafia.
Oh, really? The guy from the Animals?
Yeah,
that guy?
yeah. So the foul play that I kind of just glanced over, I didn't pay too much mind to, was the fact that the chick he was with when he died, he barely even knew her.
Yeah. And
he OD'd on her sleeping pills.
Yeah, that's right. On her her sleeping pills. He took a ton of them.
He took 9 when you were only supposed to take half a tab.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I read. It was 18 times the recommended dose. Damn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the fucking drinking.
Yeah, and then there's rumors also he was on heroin at the time, and to me it sounds like, dude, self-destruction. I think he was getting sick of his lifestyle, dude. I think he was getting burned out. That's what it seems like after reading through all of it. He was a powder keg. He was waiting to go off. He was like an Amy Winehouse.
Another troubled soul.
Yeah, yet again, dude. And probably also one of those people who's channeling all of his pain into his music, So what else we got to say on it? So that's just the beginning. He's one of the most legendary musicians of all time. Arguably the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock music. That's what it says on the Wikipedia page, and you can't really pay him any higher credit than that. Basically, one of the most talented musicians in rock
guitarist.
history. Yeah, and probably the most talented guitarist of all time, or at least in rock.
Just the simple fact that he changed the way that guitars played, the rock and roll fucking guitaring,
Yeah, I mean, now it's he created a trend of loud amplifiers and using a ton of pedals and distortion and things that people really weren't doing before. He was really the pioneer of, because he was really into loud music, And,
just fucking with the sound.
Yeah, messing with the sound and stuff. Someone, I forgot who it was, it's somewhere in here, but someone got him interested in the wah-wah pedal, and that he fell in love with it. And
that pretty much changed everything.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stories like that where he fell in love with random he reminds me of David, just really into messing with the sound, all these modifications to the sound, and how I don't know, it gives you a real palette to your music,
Yeah, just and that creative drive to to really just explore everything you can.
Oh yeah,
with what you got. Because his dad got him his first guitar, like an acoustic guitar, when he was about 15, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
$5 for an acoustic. Yeah.
Let's take a look at that, because I think I got the early years on the next slide. Let's see. Well, I guess I have background talking about all of his heritage. I was reading through his heritage, and I guess he's like he's part like Cherokee or something. He's part like Native American. Like for some reason on Wikipedia that goes like all through his like fucking like family's background, like up to like grandfathers and like grandparents and shit. But the main thing you need to know is that his dad, he was raised to his dad and his mom, and his mom died when he was really young. It was like, what was it, like 15, I think?
Yeah, his dad takes him, right? Because his dad is in World War II. He's drafted into the war, and he comes back and even changed his name, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
From his mom named him, what was it, John?
Yeah, right.
And his dad changed it to James.
I'm gonna have to take your word for it, because like I didn't read through like the early history.
Hey, Mazzy, what's going on, brother?
But yeah, let me go to the early years really quick. Let's get to that.
Okay.
So yeah, first instruments. You were talking about that, right? Like, well, he was obsessed with guitar from like basically the beginning, dude. He was going around shadow playing guitar with a broom, to the point where like a social worker from the school said it would probably psychologically scar him if he didn't get a guitar, which is pretty hilarious. And then even then his dad,
so he needed a guitar.
Yeah, like basically when you have administration at the school saying like this boy needs a guitar, like damn, like yeah, he was obsessed. And I know that I think his first instrument was actually a ukulele, right? Like that he found in he found somewhere, wasn't it? Like that only had one string. But yeah, his dad Al refused to buy him a guitar for like the longest time, dude.
Well, from what I remember, in that Pepsi commercial, is that there was Coke on one side where there was accordions, or there was guitars on the other side where there was Pepsi, and he chose Pepsi. and the rest is history.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess you could see Coke as the ukulele. I mean, the accordion of the beverage world, but I think it's more like the piano. You know, it's like the old standard. I love Coca-Cola, so I have to defend it, dude.
I'm a Pepsi fan. Sorry about that, Robbie. But yeah, no. See, I didn't know anything about the ukulele. I just as far as I got into it with his instruments, I just got his first acoustic guitar when he was about 15.
Nice. Okay, so right before that, in 1957, I guess, he was helping his father with a side job, and they were cleaning an older woman's home and like removing stuff, and they found a ukulele, and she told him he could keep it, and like he was really into it. But the instrument only had one string. But using that instrument, he was already starting to learn to play by ear. He was into like Elvis Presley. He learned Hound Dog. So before he ever gets his guitar, his mother dies of cirrhosis in 1958. So if he was born in 42, that's at the age of 16. It's all about Sprite. Are you kidding me? Sprite has no caffeine. So yeah, about 16-year-old, he loses his mother.
Okay, and this is this is pivotal in his high school.
Yeah,
this is the start of
his dad. Kind of seems like a bastard, dude.
Is this what we see the fuel for the magic, huh?
I think so. I think that's a big part of it.
He gets his guitar. His dad's kind of a douchebag. I mean, his dad, he's just coming back from World War II, drafted in there. I don't think it's like he chose to go into fucking war, so there might be a little PTSD and shit. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he took it hard. His dad told him basically to take some shots. His dad told him and his brother to take some shots and man up, like to just deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, so that's fun. Okay, but yeah, so as you were saying, his first instrument is an acoustic guitar that he bought for $5.
$5.
Which doesn't sound like much, but adjusting for inflation, that's a $45 instrument at the time, basically.
Now, right now, it would be about $45.
In today's money, it would be $45, which is still a pretty cheap instrument, though.
I haven't seen a fucking $45 acoustic guitar that's like any good.
Yeah, that's true.
For a very, very long time.
It seems like minimum, you need to shell out like $100 for a decent guitar. Just for a practice guitar, you're gonna look to spend $100.
Right, one that you don't have to fucking sand down the bridge and the fucking nut and elevate the fucking just all kind of shit.
Yeah,
you got to
the
do
action on the neck and all that kind of shit. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into
when
it.
you get
to,
a
like,
cheap one, you
restoring
got
guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
But he did it right. He did it with a $5 guitar at the time.
Yeah, dude.
And fueled his fucking his soul in guitaring.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so his influences at the time were like a lot of blues artists, Muddy Waters, B.B. King, Howlin' Wolf, and Robert Johnson. So like a lot of
greats.
Yeah, a lot of greats, dude. Yeah, and I also read somewhere he was into Little Richard, who like at some point he goes on to be part of his backing band, which is some shit, dude. Like that's pretty awesome. And
yeah, but you know why he leaves Little Richard?
Like disputes over like showmanship and like I heard tardiness. Like I heard a whole bunch of different things. What did you hear?
He was out there, you know, like the way he dressed, the way he constructed himself on stage and shit.
Yeah,
it was taking too much away from the main focus, which was Little Richard.
Yeah, that makes sense because I mean Hendrix is a showman, dude. Like it's the Jimi Hendrix experience, right? His band eventually is the Jimi Hendrix experience because that's what you get. Like you're gonna have your eyes glued to him the whole time, and there's not room for him and Little Richard on the same stage, dude. Like really,
right? And before the Jimi Hendrix experience, I think they were called the something Blue Flame.
Oh yeah, he had like the Jimi Hendrix Blue somethings. Yeah, we'll get there. I forgot what that band was, but he has in that band for a short time that he leads. Oh yeah, he played one of the first songs he learns to play is the Peter Gunn theme, which is like that song is like fucking. The song is dope. It's almost like sounds like the Mission Impossible theme or something. It's like one of those iconic songs.
No, which one?
This one, watch. We'll pull it up, dude. You'll hear this, be like, oh yeah, this song. So yeah, it's this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like one of the first songs he learns to play.
That sure reminds me of one of the Tarantino films.
Yeah, I could see that, dude. Seems like something that would be in one of his movies. Yeah, dude, that song's pretty classic, I think. So I think that's interesting. That's like one of the first songs he learns to play on his acoustic guitar.
What's the first thing you learned?
On the guitar, I started learning, I think, like Smells Like Teen Spirit. I think like something like really simple, dude. Like a couple like really simple, like and like melodies, like no chords. I used to think it was impossible to play the guitar, dude, because when you first start out, getting your hand to make those shapes, it's like it feels totally unnatural, and your hands really start to hurt.
Yeah. Once you get the hang of it, but like it's all like little simple, well-known songs.
Yeah, for sure. Right. At first, yeah, you're playing like
little ditties. Man, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, and you eventually you work your way up there. I mean, yeah, and it shows like he started with one string, dude. So to think where he worked his way up to fucking playing with his teeth and shit, like it's a long way to go.
Fuck yeah.
He formed his first band, the Velvetones. And like this is all when he's like in high school, dude. Like basically high school age. He starts his first band, the Velvetones. Oh yeah, so I forgot to mention that at some point he gets an electric guitar. His dad gives in and buys him an electric guitar at some point, but I don't know.
This is a little bit after. I think he's about maybe like a year or two later. And I forgot the make and model of it too. I had it.
It's one of these. Watch, I'll bring it up. It's this guitar. It's the Supro.
Yeah,
here it is. Yeah, the Supro Ozark. Yeah, and it's this exact model basically. This is Jimi Hendrix's first guitar, which is it's pretty dope, dude. Like it's a pretty nice looking guitar, even for the time, dude. And let's see. So yeah, so that's what he starts playing with, dude. And that's when he starts to. I mean that it probably really set him on a path. And like his dad bought him. This is finally the first guitar his dad finally like gives in and buys for him.
Right.
And he buys this guitar because basically when he's in his band, no one can hear him over the rest of the band. So he basically
with his acoustic.
Yeah, no one can. Yeah, exactly. Because at first he only has the acoustic and no one can hear him. So he realizes he has to make this investment.
Jimi Hendrix is left-handed.
Yeah, that's true. The way he strings his guitar, you can see it actually in this picture here in the background. He plays left-handed and strings the guitar backward. Yeah. He plays a right-handed guitar stringing left-handed.
Yeah. He doesn't switch anything. He just flips it over and that's it.
Yep, yeah, and there's a couple people who play like that, but it's interesting. It's a really interesting way to play. Like he was one of those people.
I would have to credit him being the first one to do that.
Yeah, he probably set that trend. I was about to say that he didn't follow musical conventions, dude. He just did things the way he wanted. He does that Bob Dylan thing. He just makes himself louder. Yeah, because Bob Dylan is very much an acoustic artist. When Bob Dylan first. Didn't he play like a festival with an electric guitar and everyone booed him?
He what?
He played some festival or some concert with an electric guitar and everyone booed him because he's like this like folksy, like he's like a folk artist who's known for playing on an acoustic guitar. And I don't know. I think okay. So eventually he joined a band called the Rockin' Kings, and so he was already playing professionally as a teenager, dude. Like as a young man, he's already playing professionally. He's played with multiple bands. He's toured at venues. He's already basically seeing some level of like touring and success as a teenager. So you could tell he really has a passion for the guitar. Dude. He's obsessed. Like and you'll go on to see how truly obsessed he is. So his guitar was stolen one day when he left it backstage overnight somewhere, and then that's when he gets he gets this guitar, the one he's pictured with here.
Oh, the Silvertone.
Yeah, the Silvertone Dan Electro. Which is that's a pretty dope looking guitar too, right there.
Stood out a little bit more.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Little red guitar.
Yeah, pretty dope. So about this time, this is about the time he ended up actually going into military service, which is a pretty interesting story because when he's 19, he got caught riding around in stolen cars, dude. Yeah, that's a very
big fucking paratrooper.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. So it's crazy because the authorities tell him I hear he had a lawyer who argued that he's going to go to the military, and so they basically gave him the choice of, hey, you can go to the army instead of going to jail, and so he goes into the army because he's basically some kind of accessory to stealing cars, and he takes basically a plea to go into the army, which who wouldn't take it? Yeah, so he was assigned to
the jail or army.
Yeah, dude, that's an easy one to take. And so he's in the 101st Airborne Division, stationed at Fort Campbell in Kentucky. And so basically he hated it. He started sending letters to his dad where he says he's basically hating his life and that it's hell. That basically he's hating jump school. He's a paratrooper. And they work you to death, and it's like, yeah, it's the military. What can you expect? And so he left his guitar with his girlfriend, and he has his father sent to him as soon as possible. And his dad sent it. His dad sends that Silvertone Dan Electro to him.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, man. At least he sends that shit to him, to keep him sane a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
because he's fucking hating life over there.
Yeah, like it seems like that was his like. Only thing that kept him sane in this world, it sounds like, dude, is that guitar. Like that was his the thing that anchored him to this world. It seems like
it's his outlet, man.
Yeah, for sure. And so
that emotional outlet.
Yeah, he was so obsessed with the instrument that other army men would steal his guitar and hide it from him, and that's pretty fucked up, dude.
Just to fuck with him, right?
Yeah, just to fuck with him. And so at some point, so he actually starts to basically play, like you can see in this picture. He actually starts to play in bands and stuff. He starts to actually play, army gigs. And at this point, he meets a person who was a longtime friend, Billy Cox. And I think I have a picture of them. Do I have a picture of them? Yeah, I have a picture of them right here. And so Billy Cox plays bass. And I guess the first time he hears him, he said it was a combination of hearing John Lee Hooker and Beethoven. That's a pretty good description of Jimi Hendrix. That's pretty badass, yeah. Because Jimi Hendrix is half virtuoso and half like blues legend.
Street. Yeah,
dude. He's just got that style to him.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Sorry,
it's another one of those where it's just naturally you just learn by ear and everything, and but he also had that blues to him because that's where his influence came from.
Yeah, for
that street music. Yeah,
you can hear that in him. So within weeks, those two are performing at clubs and getting around together, and they form a band called the Casuals, which actually lasts for a while because eventually Jimi Hendrix is actually kicked out of the fucking army.
Well, he's because he breaks his ankle.
That I hear that's what he said. That he broke his ankle on his 26 parachute jump. But I hear there's someone else who says he was honorably discharged because he just wouldn't shape up as a serviceman. Like he just couldn't get him to be regular army. Yeah, because it's not who he was. And I could imagine that, dude. Like you just not being able to turn Jimi Hendrix into like an army man.
No.
Yeah.
And this is in what year? 62.
Yeah, 62. Yeah, he gets discharged. And Cox stays in the army, but eventually Cox gets out, and that's when they go to Tennessee.
Okay, as a pair.
Yeah, they actually moved to Clarksville, Tennessee together in 1963, years later, when Cox is discharged from the army. And they form a band called the King Casuals, which is like their follow-up to the Casuals.
Okay.
That's when their band starts touring. And that's where Hendrix learns to play with his teeth. Because that's where I guess he saw someone else do it. Who was it, Butch Snipes?
Yeah, he saw somebody else do that shit live and kind of took that with him.
Yeah, he more or less told that. His like joke about it was like, because there was like two other artists who did that in Tennessee. He wasn't the one who pioneered that technique. So he said you basically have to do that in Tennessee or you'll get shot. There's a trail of broken teeth all over the stage.
You got to stand out. You got to be that. You got to be that one dude, man, and that was fucking Jimi Hendrix, right?
Yeah. I also like that. He had this thing of, like, when he saw someone doing something he liked, he'd be like, oh, I could do that. Like, he would just go out and do it. Like, there was, like, to him, he didn't have any limits. I'm pretty impressed with him.
Well, yeah, because that's how he started to play. It was all by ear, on a one fucking string. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just want to point out this thing Mazzy said here, that it's nice to hear Hendrix is united with his one true love, the guitar.
Yeah, well, we'll keep messing around with it.
Yeah, so Nashville, Tennessee, this is where the King Casuals are playing. Mm-hmm. So around this time, they're playing the Chitlin circuit, which this is something I forgot to mention in the Michael Jackson episode, but that's basically where the Jackson 5 starts touring, is the Chitlin circuit.
Man, that's all down south. I know that from like blues music and shit.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of like the most prolific and like talented black artists played there at that time, like Wilson Pickett, Slim Harpo, Sam Cooke, Ike and Tina Turner. So some big names, Jackie Wilson, some big names, you know.
Hell yeah, man! That should have been dope as fuck.
Yeah, I know, and the Jackson 5, of course. So that's a pretty significant place to be touring. So you can already see how fast he's shooting up like the ladder of music, you know.
Yeah, he really fucking stood out. I mean, he wasn't afraid to try like different shit,
right?
And it's just in him to be that person, you know. We've talked about personality, like the musician's personality,
right?
And he had that, you know. He had that like look at me type shit. I'm gonna do some crazy shit on the guitar real quick for you. For sure, it was pretty common for people to say that he was extremely charismatic. Like that seems to be a common thread of things people say about him. That he was really easy to get along with. He was all about love and peace. Like he's super friendly and like super like charismatic. Had like a good personality. Everyone seemed to like him. Like he seemed like easily likable. Well, you're always on acid, man.
That's true, man. He was on like every drug in the world. It's funny too because his one of his most problematic addictions was alcohol. That was the thing that really made him like turn, dude.
The drinking, huh?
Yeah, the drinking. Supposedly the first time he started drinking, and that was in Tennessee, I believe. The first time he started drinking, like he went into a bar with like $400 or something, and like he says that after his first drink he came out with like $16. He says he doesn't know what possessed him, but anytime anyone asked for like money or like a drink, he just like gave it to him, and then he walked out broke basically. And he said it was all because of drinking. Like drinking like just changed his priorities.
It's the devil.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, the other thing is that a lot of people have said that he was like this super nice, friendly guy, but you know, he was one of those angry drunks, and alcohol brought out like violence in him, made him like he was like domestically violent against women when he was drunk. It was just something that like just changed his personality.
Bitch, where's my sandwich?
Well, you get hungry when you're drunk, dude. Sometimes
Well, yeah, man, you get some fucking munchies.
Yeah, it's true. Dude, I get.
He's mad. If you know how he gets when he gets drunk,
get the sandwich ready.
As you're fucking told.
Is this so hard?
Is it really that
Jimi
hard?
Hendrix, goddammit.
He's gonna become a god someday.
I know,
after
man.
he's dead.
You know, I think everyone probably knew it about him too, man. Like, shit, dude. Like even that fucking social worker knew he was gonna be a goddamn legend.
Yeah,
that early.
These people carry an aura, man.
Yeah, I think so. I really, truly think so.
They carry a certain fucking like energy around them.
Yeah,
there's a certain glow to him. Like, see his pictures, he's always like smiling, or when he's playing the guitar, he's like super in the fucking zone. Just, you know,
he's
like
one of those people who knew exactly what he wanted to do, dude. And I envy that more than anything, dude. Like, seeing people,
you know what? I don't think he knew what he wanted to do per se, or I think he just knew that. Yeah, well, yeah, he knew what he wanted to do. What I meant was, like, I don't think he knew that he was going to accomplish it, but he was just doing what he loved.
Yeah, he was just doing what he loved, and it just took off for him.
Just confused myself.
But no, I see what you're saying. I see what you mean, totally.
You're going to be out here this weekend, hopefully,
yeah,
right?
Sunday, hopefully, we're going to do our dry run of the 10th episode. So just
our big 1-0.
Yeah, just to drop that out now, we're going to do a live 10th episode, so just putting that out there now. Maybe even you can come, John. I mean, it's in LA, probably not too much of a drive. We're gonna do a big party out there, and it's gonna be like 2 weeks from now. I think not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. I think. Yeah,
we're gonna do just a dry run just to get the kinks worked out, but we will be having episode 10, and it's a pretty good milestone, man. That's 10 weeks of commitment and just getting this shit out there and having a good fucking time doing it.
Yeah, true. I'm shocked we've been able to keep it this consistent, dude. Like, but I'm also pretty proud, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking proud, and I'm learning a lot from artists that I already thought I knew, and some artists that I have, and we're, like I said, we're just 10 episodes in, so
I know,
it's pretty cool.
And it's also inspiring, dude. It makes me want to be a better musician. Like, when I see like Jimi Hendrix, like, basically never put the guitar down. It's like, oh fuck, well that's how you do it. It's just like this podcast. It's like, it's all about consistency, dude. Like,
correct.
He was gonna be a great because he never stopped. All right, so okay, Hendrix. Get back to Hendrix and his drugs. Let's talk about Hendrix and his drug use.
Yeah, let's go to the drugs.
Well, actually, I think I don't know. What about his drug use? What do you know about? I know he was really into acid, amphetamines, sleeping pills, alcohol, and heroin. So he pretty much did everything, dude.
Psychedelics, man.
Yeah, man. He was really into psychedelics. And I can't blame him, because I honestly think those are the best drugs. I mean, that's a personal thing to say, but I really do think those are the best drugs.
He was totally against weed, though.
I thought there was a time where he was like really into weed. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Could you picture it? Could you picture Jimi Hendrix not smoking weed?
He's over there like doing some heroin. He's like, man, but I don't smoke. What was I didn't know about the heroin use that much though. I
think that was toward the end. I think that was like really close toward the end. That people were saying he was starting to get into heroin, which makes sense.
His run though is fairly fucking short.
Yeah, pretty true. I mean,
it's a span of like 7 years, and that's it.
Because he gets his first guitar at what, like 15, and then so that's like 12 years of guitar. He makes that impact on all of rock music, and then dies. That's
in the fucking world.
That's
man.
A blink of an eye, dude. And then he'll always be remembered.
It's not even fucking like a far-fetched idea to say he's like our Beethoven, right? Beethoven is what from what century is he from?
What is that? 1800s, Romantic era. John will know. Where's Beethoven from?
The point is that's still a name that's still like, is it synonymous?
Synonymous with what? Like being talented, right? Like yeah, for sure. Like
it's just like, who doesn't know the name Beethoven? You know, I even play that shit for my kid.
Yeah, like Jimi Hendrix is definitely one of those guys who will be remembered for hundreds of years. I really think so. Like he'll be remembered for he's like an icon of a century, which is hard to be that, you know. Like the Beatles are that, you know, that kind of icon. Beethoven 1777 to 1827. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So see, like, can you imagine from then? And we still know the name. We still know the songs. He still talked about. He's still one of those that if you're being trained in classical music, you're gonna have to learn at least one piece of his music.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. The fucking computers used to come with Beethoven on them.
Yeah, that's true.
You remember that shit?
Yeah, that's true.
There used to be the sample song that they would give you inside the fucking PC.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Jimi Hendrix is that, you know.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that interpretation of Jimi Hendrix. That and he's also got that level of like technique. Like he's super talented. Like he kind of brings that level of skill from that era with him to rock music. You know, not everyone in rock music is skilled. A lot of people in rock music are content to just play 3 chords. Some people really want to, you know, I don't know, be talented.
No, yeah, I mean, come on, dude. He played with Sam Cooke, Ike and Tina. I think the Isley Brothers even fucking asked him to be a part of their like the backing band.
Yeah, I was about to
Little
say,
Richard.
I was about to get to that part because, like, yeah, there's this slide where I don't know why this is this isn't super major, but around this time where he meets his girlfriend, Lithophane Pigeon, known as Faye. This is where he basically Lithophane Pigeon. Dude, that's an interesting name, man. Pridgeon? Oh, Pridgeon.
Oh,
I was way off.
I thought it was Pigeon. Yeah, no, it's all good.
So like you were saying, he played with the Isley Brothers. He played with he was touring with the Isley Brothers. I think I got a picture of that, don't I? Somewhere. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I do. I have it here. He's playing with the Isley Brothers. This is him with Jimi Hendrix, though. With Little Richard, which Little Richard looks pretty toned down for the time, dude. So around this time with Jimi Hendrix, he's starting to do his recordings in 1964. He's recording with Little Richard. He's recording with the Isley Brothers. I think I got a picture of him with the Isley Brothers too. There you go. Jimi Hendrix doesn't look like he knows what's going on there, dude.
Right? He's probably faded out of his mind.
Yeah, he looks pretty faded.
He's so faded. He's like, which way am I looking?
Yeah, where am I? I think that's a Stratocaster, right? That was his favorite instrument. That
was his favorite guitar.
Yeah, he really loved the Stratocaster, and
he did have an SG and a Flying V.
Oh, that's right.
The Strat was the main fucking thing.
You know, it's a lot of people's instrument of choice, dude. Like,
and you mentioned Clapton. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but Jimi Hendrix moves to what year are we in? Because he moves to fucking
the UK
to the UK, yeah, like 66, I believe.
I think we're around there. We're pretty much around there, dude. We're around the part where he's like touring with other bands. I think that let's see where we're at here. Jimi Hendrix Experience is when he moves to the UK at some point. So
correct.
So let's move on from here when he's touring with other bands because he's basically he doesn't find success with the Isley Brothers, so he goes to Little Richard. He has like
because he's just a backing guitarist, though.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to be like he wants to be like a front man. He wants to be a legend. Yeah. He wants to be recognized. And so it goes from him going from there to Little Richard, then back to the Isley Brothers, and like I think he charted the second time he was with the Isley Brothers, but he's not seeing the success he wants. But eventually he hooks up with a manager who is a guy who was in the Animals. And that guy manages him and hooks him up with 2 other musicians who he really likes, and
because he said his pretty much his main thing getting to fucking getting to UK was he wanted to fucking meet Clapton, and Clapton at this time is in Cream.
Yeah, that's
his thing. Like
big deal.
I get there, I want to meet Clapton. Like I need to meet Clapton.
Right.
And like 2 days into hours into being in the UK, he's already fucking booking shows. He's already fucking starting up and everything.
Yep. Yeah, he performs in that the Bag of Nails nightclub in London with Clapton, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Jeff Beck, Pete Townshend from The Who, Brian Jones, Mick Jagger. So like he's playing with like the greats, dude, in this fucking club.
How fucking badass!
Every star in the world was there, and I believe that's the one where Eric Clapton hears him for the first time, right?
Yeah, and like I'm saying, I think this is like right in the beginning of him moving there, because he was only in the fucking UK 4 years, and then he dies.
Yeah,
you feel me? So like he gets there 66, he dies in 70. So in 4 years being out there is what we have as Hendrix.
Right.
Because he's not a household name in the Isley, because he's just the Isley Brothers.
Yeah, he's just some backing musician.
Yeah, he's just that guitarist that's in the Isley Brothers.
Right.
But in the UK, he becomes Jimi fucking Hendrix.
That's true. Yeah.
So
that's
we have the experience.
That's
right?
That's when he's with the experience.
Right, and they're formed on October 13th of '66.
There you go, man.
Fucking Hendrix and the Experience, man.
Yeah.
And then where do we go from there? What we have?
Well, I just wanted to say something about that show where Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix basically meet. And Eric Clapton said he was never the same after he saw Jimi Hendrix play. He was shaken by it. Like, he thought he was like the shit as a guitarist. Then he saw Jimi Hendrix play, and then was like felt like he was like stepped all over, dude. Like, I heard him talk about it on an interview like years ago, and he said like Jimi Hendrix basically just like turned his world around. Like, he didn't know someone could come out of nowhere and like pull that shit. And I'm sure no one did, in a sense.
Dude, I mean, can you imagine that shit? Like, because Clapton has always been regarded as one of the greatest guitarists of all time as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
But Jimi Hendrix was that guitarist first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like,
sure. He just was.
Here comes this guy out of nowhere, like you said, just out of nowhere, and just fucking shits all over the stage with his fucking playing.
Yeah, he did that shit. Eric Clapton said when he first saw him play, he played with his teeth and he played behind his back, and he made the whole crowd go crazy, and he was just shocked, like, couldn't believe it. And I buy it. I totally buy it. Shortly before this, though, with the whole Jimi Hendrix experience, I just wanted to point out that's the first time he sets his guitar on fire at the Montreal Festival, dude. Like,
oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, I think the story is he wanted to upstage the Who, and like the Who had already like gone around destroying the whole stage, destroying all their instruments, and someone told him like, "Oh, it's too bad you can't go up there and like take apart an elephant or something." He's like, "Give me some lighter fluid." he had an idea, and then that video of him. Let's actually pull that shit up. Fuck it. He's touring the UK basically. Here's him with the Experience. Okay, so. What? This is Axis Bold as Love. Is that the first album? Do you know what the first album is? I forgot. I think I have it in here. It's oh no, it's Are You Experienced, right? Is that the first one? Pretty sure it is.
Yeah, Are You Experienced is the first
Experienced, yeah. Which, Matt, like, dude, all three of the albums made by Jimi Hendrix, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, are like just solid. They're solid, classic fucking albums, and they're highly experimental for the time. Like, all kinds of like you know, kind of interesting musical gimmicks and experimental things that no one was really doing at the time, you know, like stuff that's highly original.
Yeah, straight ahead of their fucking time.
Also, those other guys are just still playing. Yeah, they're pretty much playing while Hendrix goes crazy. I just wanted to point
there just for the experience, man.
Yeah, I gotta point out this is like the coolest fucking album cover I've ever seen, dude. Where it's like it's Hendrix and the Experience and all the avatars of Ganesha.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, dude, that's like, oh, it's so cool. It cost them $5,000 commission to make the album cover.
There you go, man. $5,000?
Yeah, $5,000, I believe. And then, you know, just for inflation, I'm sure it was a ton. But they commissioned it to be, you know, like that. And that shit's bad, dude. I love it.
Russell paid $70.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know, it's a different time though. You know what I mean? It's like now you can go find a digital Photoshop artist on any street corner begging you for work. Like back then, to get something like stylized like that, it was probably a little harder. Yeah, the 1970s.
No, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, 67 Are You Experienced, 67 Axis Bold as Love, and 68 Electric Ladyland. So to talk about that really quick, you'll notice how close those albums are together. They were famous for how fast they could cut a track and an album. Like they worked extremely well together. They were like a well lubricated machine that would write a song in like a few hours, and they had a good chemistry, but they ultimately broke up because like supposedly they all really liked each other, but the touring was just like stressing them out and making them hate each other. That's what a lot of them said in retrospect. But they had differences, you know, and a lot of them said like Jimmy was too. They didn't like that he controlled all the creative aspect of the music. But it's like, hey, it's a Jimi Hendrix experience. What do you expect, dude? Like,
correct. I mean,
fucking Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. You got in a band where, I mean, it's named after him. You kind of expect that it's gonna go the way he wants it, or it's not.
Yeah.
Not the greatest thing when you have a band, because that's more of a soloist thing. But
true.
And this when is this? They break up when?
They break up in 69, but I don't think we've talked yet. I just want to talk really quick about Electric Ladyland.
Oh yeah.
Electric Ladyland has like a standard like cover, but if you get the double LP or the double LP alternate cover of Electric Ladyland, this is like the dopest fucking cover I've ever seen. It's
I fucking
awesome.
love this shit.
Yeah,
tits.
Yeah, there's pretty much just titties everywhere. So how could you go wrong with that? But like, yeah, I don't know. These guys had good taste.
Tits and you can't see it, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of bush.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Dude, it was the 70s. I'm sure there's bush everywhere.
Nothing but bush.
Pretty much. So yeah, so that's Electric Ladyland. That's their last album. And then in 69 they break up, and then in 1970 they have Band of Gypsys. And Band of Gypsys is actually the band who goes on to play Woodstock, technically. Because
this is right before he dies, right?
Pretty much, yeah. We're getting pretty much around there because
because he dies in 70, yeah.
Yeah. So man, it's
fuck, crazy. Yeah. And this is another legendary fucking
Liz is so disappointed.
This is another legendary fucking set of video footage of him, right? This is fucking Woodstock 1970.
Yeah, I think I got the Woodstock Star Spangled Banner. Should we check that out?
Yeah.
Bring that shit up because that's also iconic if you haven't already seen it, but you probably have.
This Woodstock itself though is fucking iconic.
Oh yeah,
they were. I mean, they got invited to play fucking Woodstock, and they were supposed to go on 8 hours, like later on that day. So they take a bunch of acid, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're gonna peak, and by the time we're coming down, we'll be good enough to play."
Oh shit!
As soon as they take it, get a knock. You guys are up next.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and it's still, dude. Like watching that Woodstock is just one of the best shits ever, man.
Yeah, dude, I gotta see all the footage from that, dude. Like this makes me crave seeing all of it because I mean I know about it, casually, but like,
what band does he play with?
I don't know. I'll have to look through it. But one thing I was about to say is that he was actually the highest paid musician in Woodstock, and even though he was the highest paid musician, he did it for way lower than where he was getting paid at other venues just because he wanted to do it, of course, right?
Oh shit!
Yeah, but like he was the high, even though that's the case, they like way lowballed him. He was the highest paid musician of the whole venue, which makes sense because fucking Jimi Hendrix. Like to think that like at the most iconic music festival, one of the most iconic eras of rock, he was the most iconic fucking music. Like I don't know, dude. It's just I can't wrap my head around it.
Can't fathom that shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Santana was between Country Joe McDonald and John B. Sebastian.
Country Joe McDonald?
Oh yeah, the band name was crazy. Yeah, this is true. I forgot about this. I have this in my notes somewhere. After being introduced as the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Hendrix corrected the new group's name to Gypsy Sun and Rainbows. For short, it's nothing but a band of gypsies. And later during the set, he introduced them as Sky Church.
Sky Church, yeah, that's why I remember that too. Sky Church.
Yeah, dude, and then eventually they just went as the band of gypsies. But like, he was like just introducing them as whatever the fuck he wanted.
I mean, it's 8 a.m. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and then and they're not really truly the Jimi Hendrix Experience anymore. Like, it's like he's kind of acknowledging that, because it's not the same band.
Exactly. These guys it's not the same ones. It's a new fucking set of members. Let's get that shit right. We're gypsies, not the Experience.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like that. I like the nod to like nomadicism and the you're a nomadic tribe of musicians. I kind of like that. I always liked that.
Yeah. Okay.
So something that happened around the Band of Gypsies era is that there is all the way like back in like 1966, Jimi Hendrix, signed a record contract, and like this person like basically what is his name Ed Chalpin like litigated against him heavily. Because he owned a whole bunch of rights to like his music and stuff, and like really turned the screws on him. And I think he even owned like a whole bunch of the rights to some of his like posthumous releases that happened shortly after his death. Like he got away with murder. Like he basically had him over a barrel with his music rights and stuff. And then on top of that, his manager that was the guy from the Animals, took like the majority of the money from the Jimi Hendrix experience. Like they got almost none of it.
You know, I mean, it takes a certain type of like scumbag, right? Just a certain type of piece of shit to take somebody else's art and just fucking do as they please with it, you know?
Yeah.
Like and exploit it and make their own money out of it.
Yeah, I totally
It doesn't
agree.
matter if these dudes were like fucked up and signed the contract wrong. It's just that you got to be a real piece of shit to want to take somebody else's art and claim it as your own.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
Know?
I mean, a big
It's
problem
like-
is like artists. You know, artists are not fucking business people, so it's almost like, you know, like
They see money. They've been
Yeah.
broke because they've been living through the shit and everything. It's not even a fucking greed thing. It's just like, holy shit, I've been living off of nothing, and I'm actually gonna get paid. I'll sign and shit. But
yeah, a lot of people sign. They don't have like a lot of experience like with managing money, and like they just get taken advantage of by like these wolves in sheep's clothing. You know.
But so we go to him getting fucked over, right?
Yeah, pretty much. He more or less got fucked over through a lot of his career. He had enough money, I guess, I'm sure, to get by, and people probably just paid for him on his name, you know. But as far as financially goes, he seemed to get taken advantage of pretty heavily.
Right.
Let's see what else happened with the Band of Gypsys. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Band of Gypsys. This is when he teams back up with Cox, dude, the guy who that guy was
his buddy.
Yeah, his buddy. And they were friends till Jimi Hendrix
His
died.
death.
Yeah,
Correct.
and so I hear there was some like influence there. There was some like influence from like the Black Panthers to like try to be, you know, be like
More pro.
more pro Black Power movement and stuff.
Yeah.
Which at the time, considering how the state of civil rights was at the time, there's probably a good reason to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Correct.
You might as well use your voice to say something as long as you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
The guy playing the guitar in the subway is richer than the signed band, richer than TLC. Yeah, I know that's true because they're not in crippling debt.
Yeah, sadly, that is the truth.
Yeah, like these big labels make money the way banks do, like on credit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all it is bankers fucking. It's all just different ways to give you out loans. But when you got something good, like you have a good to provide, right? Mm-hmm. As a talent, your musical talent or your artistic talent or whatever it is, you have a good that provides. If they fucking see, they can smell the blood, right? If they see that you have some fucking type of traction anyway, well, they're gonna sign you.
Yeah,
because their thing is just about fucking interest, your interest rate.
Yep, that's true.
A lot of bands talk about it. They would go on tour, and it's like, oh yeah, we signed for this much. Oh yeah, but we had to pay for the venue. We had to pay for this. We had to pay for the music video. Sometimes shit you didn't even want to do, and they told you had to do, and now it's coming out of your pockets.
Yeah, and yeah, you signed a contract, so you're their bitch. You got no choice.
My bitch now.
At least at the bank, you get a car or album, and if you're too dumb or risky, they tell you to fuck off. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for real.
The label will totally take advantage of you. They're like, yeah,
oh yeah,
we'll try to market you. We don't care.
Gonna make you a star.
Yeah. So Jimi Hendrix touring with the Band of Gypsys, which is it's Cox and who's it? Buddy Miles. Let's see, and they that's who actually forms the real true Band of Gypsys, and they only make one album, and it's pretty good. What else about the Band of Gypsys? They perform
the album. What is like that big song on that fucking album?
Let's find out.
Foxy Lady is on it.
Is it?
If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. The Band of Gypsys album has Who Knows, Machine Gun. I know Machine Gun's a big one. Changes, Power to Love, Message to Love, We Gotta Live Together. So I guess this is what, like an EP or something?
Mm-hmm.
And then, but this is about like the end though, right? Like this is where like every album after this is released after his death.
After his death, yeah. It's just pretty much shit that never made it out while he was still alive, and it just comes out afterwards.
Oh shit.
Also,
So there's a performance they had where he got spiked with LSD by one of his bandmates. Good times. Or anyway, you're saying in '69?
Oh no! Yeah. I've heard that story. What was it?
I don't know. I was just reading it. Like it says, Hendrix came in with his head down and sat on the couch alone and put his head in his hands. He didn't move until it was time for the show. Minutes after taking the stage, he snapped a vulgar response at a woman who had shouted a request for Foxy Lady. He then began playing Earth Blues before telling the audience, "That's what happens when Earth fucks with space." Moments later, he briefly sat down on the drum riser before leaving the stage. Both Miles and Redding had later stated that Jeffrey had given Hendrix LSD. So I guess he was high on stage, but that couldn't have been the first time. That doesn't seem like a good enough excuse.
No.
He was going off the rails by the end.
Acid. No, the first time he does acid is in '66 when he met Linda.
Oh, really?
That's the first time he does acid.
Oh, wow.
But just he was arrested in fucking Canada.
Oh drugs. Yeah, I heard about that. What was that about?
I think that's where we have that famous fucking mugshot of him.
Oh man, I wish I had that shit. Yeah, because there's a good mugshot picture of Jimi Hendrix.
I think that one's from Canada, where he gets fucked in by customs in the Toronto airport.
And so, what was it for? What was it? He was possession, I assume, right?
They suspected it to be heroin.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Hashish.
Canadian drug charges in trial. Yeah, there you go. It was what? Heroin and hashish?
Yeah, that's what they thought it was, and he was actually charged and released on a 10,000 bail.
Damn, dude! Wow. He was acquitted of charges eventually.
Yeah, because he said that a fan had gave him a vial of what he thought was some like legal medication.
Oh yeah,
he didn't know what it was.
Oh yeah, right, dude, right. So yeah, so substance abuse and violence. I talked about that he tended to get violent under a lot of different drugs, or a lot of different, like, mostly alcohol. Alcohol was really the thing that set off his anger. He like would beat a lot of his girlfriends. He was really into LSD, cannabis, hashish, amphetamines. There was also like barbiturates, I think, right? Wasn't he on a whole bunch of barbiturates when he died too? Or I guess that's what the sleeping pills were.
Yeah, because there was a lot of coke, hashish, amphetamines,
coke too.
Some bud, acid. You know, he just liked the psychedelics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he mostly just fucking smoked a lot of fucking bud and shit.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. So we all know Jimi Hendrix does a whole bunch of drugs. So that's pretty much the long and short of that. And then we pretty much get to the death of Jimi Hendrix, which we talked about a little bit.
Which are also disputed a lot.
It's true, because there seems to be no like confirmed timeline of exactly what happened, and 90% of the timeline comes from his girlfriend of the time,
Monica Danneman, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Danneman. Yeah, she's the only witness to him fucking dying.
Yeah, and supposedly she says that he was still breathing when she called He was unconscious and unresponsive, but he was still breathing, supposedly, when she called the ambulance. But then he was pronounced dead, basically, an hour after the ambulance got him. And I imagine she knew he was dead. She must have known and was trying to, like, hide it. I don't know. There's a lot of, like, suspicious things that don't add up about it.
Yeah, because she says that they went to sleep around 7 in the morning, talking. And she wakes up around 11, and that's when she finds him still breathing but unconscious and unresponsive. And like you said, she calls ambulance. They get there 18 minutes later, and they get there like at 11:30, and they transport him and pronounce him dead an hour later. Right. On September 18th.
Yeah, that's he's taken 18 times the recommended dosage of Vesperax, barbiturate. Are those barbiturates or
barbiturates? He asphyxiated on his own vomit and died of asphyxia while intoxicated with barbiturates, citing insufficient evidence of the circumstances. It was declared an open verdict. But she later revealed that he had taken 9 of her prescribed Vesperax.
That's so crazy, dude.
Which was, like you said, 18 times the recommended dosage.
He should have only taken a half. And I don't know, it's crazy. That's why you got to sleep on your side, by the way, so you don't wake up choking on your own vomit one day.
But she knew that you were only supposed to take half a tablet.
Yeah, I sometimes wonder if this is some thinly veiled suicide attempt because he was getting burned out. I hear he was playing too many shows. He was like constantly having to put on a really high energy level of show, and like he needed a ton of drugs to do that. He wasn't making very much money. He was just basically emotionally exhausted, and it's almost like Amy Winehouse, where it feels like there's some level of burnout involved in his death. Although this guy really kept rocking for a lot longer than Amy Winehouse seemed to pull it off.
They both died at the same age.
I guess that's a good point. You know what? I guess I can't say that because they died at the same age. Yeah. And
they both pretty much got their career started at the same age too.
I guess I was just because his body of work seems so much larger, but
you know what it was also. Sorry to cut you off. What were you gonna say, bro?
No, I was just gonna say she was doing it equally as long. Clearly, like pretty much they were both doing it since childhood.
Yeah, but I think it's the difference of times, and the magnitude of because of the times, it was the magnitude of impact because of the times.
Right.
It's the fucking 60s, the mid 60s, and he's doing something far fucking out that nobody had ever fucking seen.
Yeah, that's true. He's like a revolutionary. Like it's something totally different with him.
And with her, it's like this skinny little Jewish chick who's fucking singing fucking like a soulful black woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so different. I think that's what makes it seem like he had a more rounded, huge, bigger fucking career.
Right.
Like a longer spanning career, even though they kind of had the same. If not, I think she's even a little bit earlier because he really starts after like 19 or 20 getting out of the service.
Right.
While she started at 16 making a fucking big name for herself.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
And yeah, Mazzy has a point here though that like since 2010 he put out over 20 albums. So he was better at putting out albums. But there is something about that where he was faster at putting out albums for sure.
Yeah, right.
There was something about his first three real albums are the Jimi Hendrix Experience ones. Then he has
Axis, Electric Ladyland.
Yeah.
Which was at the Electric Lady fucking studios in New York.
Right, but then he has the Gypsy Kings album. Then everything else after that is either like an EP or a live album or an album after his death. So even though he put out work quickly, really only a few of those albums were released while he was alive, it seems.
He had a lot of shit recorded too, though.
Yeah, but he did have a lot of stuff recorded because after his death, he's one of those artists where they just fucking milked his fucking name and they just put out like all kinds of crap. And a lot of it was owned. The rights were owned by Al Hendrix, his father, and there was all kinds of like legal disputes going back and forth with those over time. But a lot of them too were also owned by that guy who owned a lot of his catalog for some time shortly after his death. So it sucked that guy still had hands in his music.
The movie that was supposed to come out with Andre 3000 as Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I thought it was going to be the shit because Andre 3000 is badass actor, dope ass musician, and I really thought he was going to be able to pull it off. The reason it didn't happen is because the Hendrix estate did not want to release rights for the movie to use the music.
It's fucking bullshit.
So it's either release the movie, not release the movie because of no original score, or release the movie with non-original Hendrix vocals,
right.
Like without his music. So it's like gonna be released with shit that wasn't him, Because I think at the end of the day, his family did take all his shit back. I think at some point the Hendrix estate went back to owning everything.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely
I do
sure.
believe that's true. I do believe that guy who had like stake in the music was only for a short period of time, and then I believe all of it went to basically Al Hendrix, to his father. Who it's sad that he outlived his son, who was such a fucking legend, dude. It's crazy, but yeah. But
have you seen the other Hendrix movie?
No, I didn't even know there was one made.
You remember that movie? Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Remember the black dude that becomes best friends with the white boy, the one that dies? Remember the dude, the white boy who gets hit by the car? His best friend, the black dude?
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, well, he plays Jimi Hendrix in the movie. And fucking, I think Vivica Fox plays his lady.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look it up. I know. I've seen that.
Does she
fucking
play
movie.
Pridgeon, Lafayette, Faye?
You know what? Give me a second. I know I've seen that fucking movie. I'm not crazy.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, why the fuck wouldn't they make a movie about Jimi Hendrix? Speaking of, as long as we're going to talk about movies about Jimi Hendrix, let's just jump over to Impact and Legacy. The fact that this is pretty much what we'll finish off on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, see if you can find that movie. See if you can find out information about it. We already talked about his guitars. The fact that, let's see, man, yeah, the fact that he was really into, like, you know, large amplifiers. Yeah.
Hell yeah, fucking big sound.
Yeah, dude, yeah. He, like, during 65 and 66, he used an 85-watt Fender Twin reverb amplifier. Oh, yeah, so he was really into, at some point, using 3 100-watt super lead amplifiers and, like, turning them all up to the fucking max, dude. This guy's, like, nuts, dude. Like, whenever he used his amps, he would turn all the knobs to the max settings. So it's something that's called Hendrix mode now. Is the movie 2013 Jimmy All Is By My Side?
No, well, see, there's it's a movie called Hendrix.
Just Hendrix. I was just gonna say, good point to Mazzy about, like, that. You know, Amy Winehouse was a perfectionist. She's really serious about like getting shit right in the studio. Where Jimi Hendrix was just like shitting out music, dude. Like, which may not be the right. You know, I can't let the music slip, dude. Which may not be the right term for it. Shitting out music, but he was like quickly putting out music.
Yeah, exactly. So the movie Hendrix came out. I'm not entirely sure, but Andre 3000, the one that he filmed was from 2014 that just never got released because of all the shit, you know.
Yep, Hendrix, 2000, director Leon Ichazo. This is the one.
I just sent you a link so you can see the pictures. It's the first picture that pops up, that one right there.
Yeah, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the one. You can check this out on IMDb. Hendrix 2000.
What was in it? Billy Zane.
Wood Harris played Jimi Hendrix.
Vivica Fox.
I'm gonna check this out.
As Pigeon. Yeah, he's not the best Hendrix, but then again, I really didn't know how Hendrix was, so I'm guessing his portrayal of him was maybe authentic.
I know, yeah, you know, I want to see if I can find some fucking interviews with Hendrix, dude. I should have looked that up, but I really didn't.
But compared to Andre 3000, I think Andre 3000
you would have pulled it off.
The Hendrix look a little bit more.
I can see that. I can see that. So. Also closer in mindset, you know, considering like musical styles and stuff. And considering the fact that one is a musician and
he's a little crazy.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, you know, a unique musician and all that. It's not exactly Hendrix though, but Andre 3000's pretty dope.
Wood Harris, that is the guy. He's a good guitar. He's a good actor.
It depends on how much the actor fell in love with the guitar and drugs.
Drugs and pigeons.
Pretty much, man. So yeah, Hendrix effects, signature, wah-wah pedal. Let's see, what else? So what else does he have, like, legacy-wise? The Impact is pretty much the rest of rock music history, dude.
Yeah, there really isn't much you can really say other than that.
Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 92. Followed by 2 Grammys in 1999. How is he winning Grammys this far after his death? He won a Grammy in 2006 for...
revival of his music, probably.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's like he won a whole bunch of Grammys way after his death, which is some weird shit. For like albums he released.
This is what his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame biography states. Jimi Hendrix was arguably the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock music. Hendrix expanded the range and vocabulary of the electric guitar into areas no musician had ever ventured before. His boundless drive, technical ability, and creative application of such effects as wah-wah and distortion forever transformed the sound of rock and roll. I mean, what else can you say about that shit, you know?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's sad. It's sad he's no longer with us. He left. He left an insane impact on music and rock history. And he's probably going to be remembered for hundreds of years, man. He's one of those.
This is just I'm gonna name some of the people who claim their influences come from Hendrix.
All right.
Marilyn Manson,
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Wow.
Kirk Hammett, Joe Santorini, Frank Zappa, David Bowie, Talking Heads, King Crimson, Nine Inch Nails. You get me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just to name a few.
Like a bunch of ton of like really influential people were influenced by him.
Wait. Prince, George Clinton,
Damn.
the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know?
Yeah.
The Funkadelic, the Isley, Ernie Isley of the Isley Brothers. You get me? Like,
Yeah, it all makes sense too.
This is people whose names like you hear and you know who the fuck they are.
Yeah. And some of it you can hear the influence. Like I can hear the influence of fucking Jimi Hendrix on Prince. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like yeah, it all makes sense. Isn't just everyone who has ever used a guitar with some feedback? Yeah, pretty much like
Kirk Hammett. Hell yeah.
Jimi Hendrix pioneered this like feedback and like fuzz and wah wah technique. He mastered it kind of.
This dirty fucking sound to the guitar.
Yeah. And that was another thing about it, like
dirty sound.
Yeah, dude. Like he liked playing with the sound. It wasn't just about like making a clean sound. Like he introduced like not having a clean sound to music, you know, like to guitar really, not to music. But maybe to music in general though, because like that was the natural evolution of rock, was to get like grittier, you know.
Fucking Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, man.
And I can't believe he was officially inducted into the, what was it, R&B Hall of Fame?
Is that where he was inducted into?
No, like he's into the R&B Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you're right. In August 21st, 2016 in Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah, because he's inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in like...
when is that?
I don't have a date for that, actually.
But in 92.
92. But damn, fuck, it took that long?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
You know, it took that fucking long. The man who made fucking Clapton feel like he was no good, you know, like it took him that long.
Yeah.
You know, in a field mostly exclusively populated by white musicians, Hendrix has served as a role model for a cadre of young black rockers.
That, you know, that's another thing we didn't really mention, is that like he comes from an era that like was just coming off of the heels of like segregation and you know, civil rights movement, and was like one of the first heavily marketable to white people black musicians. You know what I mean? Like he was he was a musician who broke racial lines and who was accepted and well loved and respected by everyone.
Well, Chuck Berry started that first.
That's a good point.
Chuck Berry goes to jail, and then that's it. You put a lid on Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's that time of the night where we give our honorable guest his official death in music title.
I would say the god of rock, dude. The god of rock and roll. Like, who could you place above Jimi Hendrix? If you could argue there's anyone else, then I'll take it back.
Nah, I give him the god of rock and roll. Yeah, fuck yeah, rock and roll itself.
Yeah, like when I did this episode, I did all the research. I was like, oh fuck, man, like he won. He basically won.
Yeah, you can't really like put anybody up on that fucking pedestal.
I agree. I totally agree.
Know? And I mean, if there's a couple of the gods out there, I mean, he's the fucking electric guitar god.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see as we go, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if anyone will dethrone that guy, dude.
For now, our god of rock and roll, Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix, yeah. Only guy who comes close is Chuck Berry. I agree, Mazzy. And even then, I still think Jimi Hendrix edges him out.
Yeah, because Chuck Berry played up until his fucking death. Was it like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago already? Yeah,
dude, he hung in there, man. I was surprised, dude. When I heard he died, I didn't even know he was still alive. Honestly, I
was so pissed. I was supposed to go see him at fucking the Hootenanny. And I wanted to go. I think he didn't even show up though. But fucking, it would have been dope to have seen Chuck Berry before he died.
Oh yeah, dude. That's one of those things that you kick yourself for missing, you know.
But to the great Jimi Hendrix, the god of rock and roll.
Yeah, dude. We'll be doing some drugs for you, Jimmy.
Oh yeah.
In your name, and we'll be playing some guitar with some glazed over eyes.
I think this was a successful episode 8, brother.
I agree, man. They're just getting better and better, and the next one's gonna be better than this. And everyone look forward to live episode 10 coming in 2 weeks, probably on a Sunday. We're gonna try to bring that to you live with a little bit of a party.
Not saying that these aren't live.
No, but I mean live. Right now. That's true. I guess they're all live episodes, but with a live audience. That's what we should say.
Yeah, and we'll be in the same place and shit.
Yeah, we'll be together like as it should be.
We won't be a few hours apart.
Yeah, I know. We're like a few hundred miles apart, and it kind of, puts a damper on things. But we'll get it going. We'll get it together.
It's a work in progress. We're always thankful for you guys that are here with us every fucking week. Mazzy, Liz,
very much so.
Fucking awesome.
Very much so. Thank you guys for being here as always.
Everybody else that's been here too, thank you very much. This was another week in another death in this. It's another episode of this week's Death in Music.
You're damn right. One of the better ones, one of the legends. And so we'll bring you another legend next week, and every week after that if we can.
Correct. And as always, follow us on our handles on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Death in Music.
Death in Music.
All one word. All one word.
You got it.
Thank you, brother. It was fun, man.
Yeah, it was a great one. And hope I'm not keeping you too long, man. Thank you for making it. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone in the chat. And thank you for anyone who's watching the recorded episodes. We really thank you for your patronage. And thanks again to Sarah for the donation. I thank her for that.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, always. Mazzy, thank you, brother, for all your feedback as always. And you got a little Spanish Castle Magic back there?
Oh, shit. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, let's get that going. There we go.
Yeah. Let's close out with that one tonight.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Cool, man.
Thank you, brother.
Of course, man.
Peace.
Peace, man. Thanks for making it, dude.